Hello, my gentlemen, my gentle ladies. It's Jenny, and welcome to Jenny's thoughts on the Super Mario Galaxy movie. If it seems like I'm reading off a script, it's because I had to write one. This is how I had to do all of my sermons back in Bible college, too, because obviously, public speaking, not my forte. Anyways, let's get back to your scheduled program. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Recently in theaters is the Mario Galaxy movie. Now, I've never been much of a movie watcher, but you know who has? My husband, Gable. What I have always been into is gaming, and so has he. And with that territory comes the Nintendo games, of course, which means Super Mario and all of his little friends. Personally, I main Luigi. The first Mario movie was great. It was so nostalgic. The Super Mario Galaxy movie was pretty decent in its own right. However, being a movie buff and a gaming buff, after the movie, Gable and I tore into it, dissecting it with everything we had. It's just natural. So, without further ado, here are our thoughts on the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Gable recently told me a story about a young man who went up to give his first sermon. After his first sermon, he went up to his pastor to ask how he did. His pastor said that it was a great sermon series, meaning he tried to pack what could have been 3 sermons into one. In the same way, a lot was packed into the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and, in Gable's words, it would have been a great trilogy. However, and rightly to think so, it probably would have fallen flat if it was a trilogy. So, a lot was packed into this 1 hour and 38-minute movie. My cousin speculated that maybe they're trying to create a Super Smash Bros. Movie with all that they added in, so they streamlined this movie to shoot for another. One of these things that was thrown in was many of the characters, thrown in rather haphazardly. For instance, Pikmin, and the sketch character that I can never remember the name of, and also, for instance, Star Fox. It was so cool to see him. He had such a cool character in the movie. But the story on how he actually ended up in that universe was basically that he randomly got teleported there. Basically, they needed some way to get him in the universe, and they had no backstory for it. Nintendo, first creating them many characters, rightfully so, did not think they needed to create such detailed backstories for these characters. However, now they're deciding to create movies with these characters, and they have to have backstories. Movie characters have to have backstories. So now they are creating this brand new lore for the Mario world. So let's talk about the existing lore prior to the movies. While it's not official canon, many have speculated, it's a big fan theory, that Rosalina, Princess Rosalina, is Luigi's future daughter. Now, in this movie, Rosalina and Princess Peach are sisters. If Rosalina is to be Luigi's daughter, that would make her Mario's niece, and also Princess Peach is Mario's niece. And if Mario and Princess Peach are to hook up, that would of course be really weird. Now again, it is just a fan theory, but it is also a popular one and never fully addressed by Nintendo. So let's look a bit deeper into it. Are Princess Peach and Rosalina actually sisters? We get this information through a book in Rosalina's observatory, one which she would read to her Lumas, the stars. It says that 2 stories were made out of stardust, and when they put their hands together, they have the ability to summon the power of the cosmos. Does this make them biologically sisters, though? Does stardust follow the same rules as biological sisterhood? Either way, if it was adopted sisterhood, it would still be pretty weird for Mario and Princess Peach to be hooking up. So, it has to debunk the Luigi parenthood theory. With a little further digging, Rosalina is the only one who can use star power apart from Princess Peach. Princess Peach can't use star power apart from Rosalina. Was Peach just found? What if the stardust creating them was how birth was described to the Lumas so that the Lumas can understand? That would bring into contingency the reality of Rosalina's observatory books. Gable thinks it was Rosalina who wrote the books for the story of her Lumas, so that of all the things that she observed in the galaxy. I think it's a magical observatory that observes the galaxy and could possibly hold the history of the galaxy within its walls in the form of books. If it was Galaxy Records, then yeah, they could both be of Stardust. If it was Rosalina's personal storytelling, then possibly she could have redacted the story to be more to the Luma's understanding. Either way, I digress. It is all a bunch of theories. Not to mention Rosalina's age. Princess Daisy and Luigi haven't even met yet. The potential for time to work differently, though, in the observation of the galaxy is still there. By the way, spoilers, Princess Daisy is hinted at the end, so there's bound to be another movie. Let's move on to Bowser and his character arc. Having Bowser Jr. be the new ruler, was great. Having Bowser evil again? Not so much. Here's the breakdown. It would have been fine had Bowser had stayed fully reformed. It would have been fine had he had stayed bad. It would have even been fine if he had acted to be reformed, only to eventually go against them, betray them, I guess, in the end. What's not fine is that he was so reformed to the point where he would sacrifice his life to years of work under the Queen Bee just for the brothers to continue the quest, not knowing that he would be rescued by his son. It's far too good for him to flip-flop back to pure evil. So his character arc just wasn't rounded well. Now, moving past the cons, what are the pros of the Super Mario Galaxy movie? One rabbit hole we fell into while we were dissecting this movie was who these movies were created for. Originally, I thought it to be for people like me, people like my dad, people who grew up playing these games, playing these characters, listening to these soundtracks. And while I still believe that's true, it also, as my husband stated, are probably for the families of those people. To share the nostalgia with their childhood to their own children. And now, in terms of nostalgic viewing, it was great. Just like the first movie. It sparked so much joy in me to see the characters that I once played as to be brought into life in such a bright and colorful and musical and fun way. The soundtrack was also spectacular, using the original game's music. Felt familiar and new, all at the same time. So in terms of nostalgic viewing, man, what a great movie. In terms of a family movie, we brought Gable's little brothers and they loved it. So gold star there. Is there more to come? As I already mentioned, Daisy was hinted at, so probably. And if they are going to continue to release bangers like this, I don't see why they wouldn't continue to. If my cousin's speculations about Super Smash Bros. Movies are correct, then there is a lot more characters that they can make movies for, such as Kirby, for instance. Now, will they be good? Who knows? The Zelda movie is apparently already facing backlash for giving Link speaking lines. And I could see the same thing happening for if they ever did a Kirby movie. Who would even voice Kirby? I can't think of a single voice actor or actor who would fit his character. Either ways, I still feel like more movies along this line are a high likelihood. Well, there you have it. There are some rabbit holes to think through, and those are my thoughts on the Super Mario Galaxy movie. But you should go check it out for yourself. Sadly, we couldn't afford the Yoshi popcorn bucket, but if you can, be sure to pick one up. It's really well done. As always, my gentlemen, my gentle ladies, I'm praying for you. If you have a prayer request, you can find my Discord channel. In that is a channel for prayer requests, or you can just DM one of the mods and they would be happy to pray with you, especially if it's something personal that you don't feel like sharing to the whole community. But if not, just remember, you are all in my prayers. Do not forget who loves you the most, which is God. And as always, have a very blessed day.